The Mark of the Beast by Rudyard Kipling. I have to admit, I actually like Mr. Kipling a lot better in. I like Mr. Kipling a lot better in genre mode, or what I would consider more genre-ish mode, even though we're probably harnessing the same kind of attitudes towards native peoples. But yeah, this is a story where a drunken Englishman bursts into a temple, stubs out his cigar on a temple idol, and a leper, silver painted leper with a completely ruined face, jumps out and presses his face to him, and at which point over the next night, he kind of slowly transforms into basically a beast creature, into a wolf. He has a little Rosetta mark on him, and they end up capturing the leper and basically torturing the guy. It's very much what we did. We don't want it printed here. It's like they caught him. Strickland shaded his eyes with his hands for a moment, and we got to work. This part is not to be printed. It's like they basically tortured the guy until he took off whatever the curse was on this drunken English dude, Fleet, who, of course, after a good sleep, wakes up and he thinks it's New Year's Day when actually it's the next day entirely, where he's from when he's been transformed into a wolf. Yeah, yeah. I kind of enjoyed that story, even though you have the asshole English guys who not respecting the culture, but they get they get punished for it. Um, of course, it's turning somebody else's culture into supernatural stuff, which is it's interesting that I reacted well to that story. Whereas if this was more literary fiction, I'd be banging on about the colonialism and stuff like that, even though the colonialism, the racism is still very much present in this story and empowers it. But suddenly it's interesting that it's become much more acceptable of a story for me, less disturbing in a way, more comfort food because, oh, it's a spooky story of a guy turning into a werewolf or something like that. The Mark of the Beast, yes, yeah. So it's interesting that I enjoyed that, um, and that there's just a lot of stuff in there that I enjoyed, which I did not have not been enjoying in a lot of his other stories. Like I would not be unhappy if the rest of his stories are very supernaturally. Um, but yeah, it's turning that foreign something outside of our culture into unexplainable magic, superstition, um, adventure that the heroes have to fend off when we're talking about an Anglo-Indian writer who's very much we're a ruling class over these people and kind of like their children that we should rule. Um, yeah, yeah, interesting, interesting. So yeah, that is the Mark of the Beast, and we'll do the Return of Imre next.